When performing a suitcase lunge, you will be keeping a weight on one side of the body only. The idea here is that you are preventing the body from leaning from one side to the other, maintaining a neutral spine in this direction. We call this anti-flexion, or trying to prevent flexion in the spine, which targets the obliques as a stabilizer during this movement. So when you begin, place your feet about hip distance apart, toes and knees facing forward. Then you're going to assume a split stance. The leg that steps back is on the same side as the weight that you're holding in your hand. So because my weight is in my right hand, I'm going to step back with my right leg. When you've assumed your split stance, you'll bend your knees, making sure that you don't lean to the right or the left with the weight on that one side. Here are some tips for performing your suitcase lunge well. When assuming your split stance, make sure that that split stance is wide enough, or at least long enough this way, to allow your knee to bend right under your hips and your shoulder. What we want to avoid is a narrow stance where the knee comes in front of the hips, because then we start to lean at the waist and we lose some of that engagement in our front leg. Another mistake I see is a stance that's too wide, where the knee bends behind the hip instead of right underneath it, which creates a great stretch in the hip flexor, but it is not the point of the exercise that we're trying to do here. What we want is a stance that is the appropriate length so that that knee bends right under your hips. Another tip is when you're setting up to straighten out both legs and then slightly take the weight into the back leg, just a little bit, so that when you bend your knee, it's your back knee that's taking you down. When you stand back up, it's your front leg that pushes off the ground. So again, think back leg on the way down and front leg pushing on the way up until your legs are straight.